40 Haunts later, ScareLA is proud to present the Scary Farm creative team for a special sneak peek of 2013. Please welcome the team who creates your nightmares, Knott Scary Farm.
As the lights turn red, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Eric Linksweiler. I'm a Knott's Berry Farm historian, and after writing a little bit of a book on the history of Knott's Berry Farm, I wound up working for Knott's Berry Farm. So I'm up here with my bosses and co-workers, asking them questions that hopefully won't get me in too much trouble later. But before I drag them up here, like corpses in a bloody mess, I'm going to ask a couple of questions of you guys. The first thing I want to ask is, have you been to haunts? That's all of us. The next question is, have you been a monster? Yes. And after that, I have to ask a silly question. Are you an annual pass holder to Knott's Berry? Thank you. That park and everything about it is so close to my heart. I absolutely adore Knott's Berry Farm, Knott's Scary Farm, Knott's Merry Farm, and once in a while, Knott's Fairy Farm. That's Knott's history. Let's get started with our haunt panel. I'm going to bring them up now. This way. And give me Caesar one. You probably know these rock stars up here. These are the tip of the iceberg, the people that design and create the haunt that you all love. But before we get started with them, we must acknowledge that they are the top of this beautiful pyramid that makes this Halloween haunt so spectacular. We've got painters, we've got construction crews, sound technicians, lighting technicians, and of course 1,000 monsters that make it all our reality. But let's begin with a little bit of an introduction. I'd like to start on that far end with you, Jeff, because I want to...
Myself, you ready?
I want to introduce yourself,
okay.
But I've got a couple questions that I want y'all to answer as well. They might know who you are, but I want to know how long you've been with Knott's.
My name is Jeff Tucker. I work in entertainment. I'm coming up on 20 years at Knott's Berry Farm. I was only going to work there a couple of weeks in the summer. I've yet to escape. So yeah, I've done a million things on farm, from being the voice of Sad-Eyed Joe in the jail, to a cowboy on the streets, to contributing writer on the hanging, to writing my own shows like Dr. Cleaver's Big Election, and to this year writing and producing and directing a show called Possessed, which will be, hopefully, thank you, the scariest thing we've ever presented show-wise at Knott's Scary Farm. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name's Adam Hankinson. I am the audio specialist that builds all the sound effects that do the music tracks for mazes, scare zones, and all that stuff. I'm English. I just realized I'm sitting between the two funniest people on the panel, so I'm going to suck big time. These guys will translate anything I say into American for you, okay?
I'll translate everything he says to American.
Just like that, mate.
You'll know.
What a wanker.
Well, I'm Gus Kruger. I'm one of the design specialists here at Knott's Berry Farm. And well, I'm here at Knott's Berry Farm. You're not at Knott's. I don't know if you noticed that. I started as a monster way back in 2000. Since then, I worked production, I built mazes, I propped mazes, and now I am designing mazes. And this year I am designing the Gunslinger's Grave out at the lake. Awesome. Thank you for your polite applause. And that is all I'm going to say about myself at this moment.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Miller. I've been with Knott since 98, that's 15 years, coming this haunt. I've designed several mazes, a lot. And This year I'm designing Mirror and Black Magic.
Hi everybody, my name is Brooke Walters. I am supervisor of design at Knott, and I helped run the event with Laura. And this will be my 12th haunt. I started out as a painter and a monster. And this year I am designing Forevermore and the hanging and whatever else I can get my hands on.
Hello everybody, I'm Laura Hanneman. I'm and I've been there for like 20 years, so it seems just like yesterday. But it's and I have a pleasure of working with all these people, so it's a pleasure to be here.
Yay.
All our mazes are, we tirelessly designed making sure that wheelchairs can get through, the passages are wide enough, we have enough emergency exits. Of course, safety is in the forefront of our minds and design, so.
All mazes are fully accessible handicap ones.
Yeah, they have to be. And it's funny because I run the Scary Farm Facebook page, and when we announced Trapped last summer, in anticipation of the 40th, the question I got almost every hour was, will it be wheelchair accessible? Will it be wheelchair accessible? And I said, yes, it will be, even though we'll be asking you to do things that are completely ridiculous compared to what the other mazes ask you to do. Yes, everything that we build has to be ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act.
And the service dogs like
Yeah, I know, that's what I was just gonna say. Last year we had service dogs going through, they'd watch them on video and they were like champs. The adults or humans were screaming and the dogs were loving it.
So I think what we're trying to say here is that we're far more kind, caring, and compassionate than Russell Knott ever was.
Maybe there's a reason he's not there anymore. Maybe that's it. The next question I have, not just handicapped, but children. Every now and then we see parents with children in strollers going through these mazes.
Because nothing says I love you like a lifetime of therapy.
Well, now, I'm looking out at this audience and I do see lots of babies, but that's not what I'm talking about. I wanted to find out, what about these strollers? What is the minimum, maximum age for a child in your opinion? And as designers, do you design for an age group?
I think all our mazes are, I mean, we advertise them as PG-13. It's up to the parent. I mean, we are not the parents, but I mean, I know a lot of kids that are really into this stuff, and they shouldn't be denied that either, but you know, we're not going to cater to them. We're going to make it as scary as possible.
I don't know how many times being a monster there was crying, terrifying children, and sometimes just standing there by themselves, like 8 years old, like, so I mean, you got to know your kid, I think.
Don't forget, we do Camp Spooky during the day for the kids too.
Yeah.
So there's something there for them. Which
There's a certain segment of the population, and it's a large segment. If you look at dolls like Monster High and Living Dead dolls, kids are watching horror movies earlier and earlier. So it depends on the kid. You know, my kids, for the most part, would love to come to mom. They know how it's all done. They're still terrified of it though. So it's up to the parent. You gotta always put it back on, are you making the right choice by bringing your kid? And what we say is, I think the rule is, it doesn't matter how old the kid is, you gotta buy a ticket. So even if you bring a newborn, they have to have a full ticket. So hey, if you can afford it, bring them down.
Uncle Willie? I think?
Uncle Ernie?
Uncle Ernie, that was it. It was Uncle Ernie. I was upstairs in the closet, and it was a blast. I had lots of fun, and it inspired me. You have to kind of know what it is like to be a scare actor before you design, because then you kind of know the in and outs of what to do and how to do it. So it's greatly beneficial with your designs.
Oh, well, actually, yeah. I'm not the guy that ever had any sort of goals to be a designer. I just sort of showed up to be a monster because I needed a job and it seemed like something fun to do. And it kind of grew on me. My first year was 2000 and I worked in Elvira's Nightmares. Followed that up in 2001 with Malice in Wonderland. And then 2002 I did Blood Bayou, and that was the year that I actually transitioned over to production as well. I worked as a carpenter that year. And I always made it a point to try to work different venues just because I liked the variety of what we had there, and I just didn't want to get in one particular role or spot. But I think really if you work as a monster, and I did it for more than years than I care to think about, but it really helped me as far as knowing things that you can add to maze to help people work, and it gives you a unique perspective that I don't think you get if you just try to throw down a ground plan without having walked in those footsteps to begin with.
For one, real fast, him and his brother, the Kruger brothers is what we called them, they had a reputation for being insane monsters, for climbing walls, jumping on things. I mean, they kind of were legendary for a while there. I started out in Mine Ride. I worked the exit, did that my first year in 2002, and then after that I was on Camp UB Streets as a crazy bird lady thing, and I did that for several years, and I still go out and do it at least once or twice every year, because you can't forget how to scare.
Yeah, I think all of us kind of go out every once in a while just to see what it's like and experience what the streets are or what maze.
Being a monster is a lot of work, and it definitely makes you appreciate how much our monsters go through every night and how much energy they put into it, and how doing that for 6 weeks straight takes a lot out of a person. It takes a really strong and kind of crazy person to do it, and I have a lot of respect for our monsters.
Yeah, I've gone out a few times in full makeup out on the streets of Ghost Town, and the last time I went out, a drunk guy picked me up and threw me against a wall, and so I said, I'm going to leave that to the professional guys who know what they're doing.
I'm going to trick or treat. Trick or treat. Outstanding. The witches and Indians are coming to get you. I believe Brooke is the one in charge of that fantastic thing.
Yeah, I designed Trick or Treat. You get to go into the witch's house and see where she lives. You get to visit all her tricksters and the trick-or-treaters that she has killed in there. And my one request for this year is more dead children in there. So.
You'd be surprised how often that request comes in.
Next slide, please. Also coming back is Pinocchio. Pinocchio Armstrong, Daniel, that's your sick, twisted baby.
Pinocchio Armstrong's returning this year. It follows the famous story of Pinocchio. He's grown up and he wants revenge on the Blue Fairy. So he goes out, kills all of anyone he knows, takes their skin and puts it onto his wooden frame to become a sick and twisted puppet murderer. So.
Awesome. Also returning is Villian.
Delirium is like a nightmare landscape. You walk through and you visit a lost girl. You visit all kinds of different throne rooms, and it's really grotesque and wonderful.
It's a twisted nightmare.
It is. And that's what Daniel's office looked like, basically.
This is true.
Let's see who else we got. Endgames. Brought to you by...
Endgames, well, originally designed by Mrs. Brooke Walters. Miss Brooke Walters, I don't even know. She's married, but who knows what she's saying. Endgames is basically a post-apocalyptic future where the rich take the slaves of the general population and put them in the arena to kill each other for fun, profit. But mostly for fun.
That's adorable. It makes me feel all warm and cuddly.
Yeah,
Precious.
it's one of the feel-good things. It's one of the feel-good moments of Haunt.
Also returning is one of my favorites, it's Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse got reinvented recently, and I think all the better
Yeah,
for it.
Slaughterhouse is the maze that will not go away. It's currently in its 5,000th different iteration. Originally designed by Daniel Miller. Last year it got a nice once-over from Top Fox. I inherited it this year. It's another touching story of Uncle Willie's dining room. Nice little hole-in-the-wall along the road shack where if you wind up backstage, you get to see what's really on the menu, and it's probably you. But it's fun.
We all know what's in that secret sauce.
Yes.
Who's next?
Well, most of what's in it. You don't want to talk about the other stuff.
The Witch's Keep is returning. If you didn't get a chance to ride Witch's Keep last year, you must take a visit in Witch's Keep this year.
Yeah, the Witch's Keep actually was here last year. It wasn't really advertised because we weren't sure how good it was going to be, I think. But no, this year basically, it continues the story of the witch throughout the Calico Mine Ride. It's a different venue in the fact that it doesn't have talent as the others do. It's sort of a dark ride. The witch has overtaken. She found an ancient energy inside the center of the mine. She harnesses that energy, and it's sort of in a way the origins of the witch's power, not all of her power, but it helped amplify it, and she starts playing with the miners and turns them into tricksters at about 100 years in the past. So it's an interesting look back in the history of the witch. It's one of her many adventures.
Also, it doesn't have monsters in it, but there definitely are scares in there, effects in there, and it's got a lot of cool stuff in there. And it's also open during the day, so you can come and see it during day show as well.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We actually, when we designed this, we tried to make it an attraction that we could run both day and night and still keep it scary at night and fun at the day, and I think we succeeded for it. Well, we must have, because it's back again. Yay.
I'm sure you probably know what's coming, but just in case you don't, let's do a little preview. The new mazes for the year are Dominion of the Damned.
Last year, we did Dominion of the Dead, and that was for the 40th. This year we wanted to put a new face on it. So brought in a guest designer, Orion, and he and I have been working together to do this. Basically, he embraced the masculine side of the vampires here. It's about the king. There's a deja vu theme to it, where you go through one room and it seems nice and it's seductive, but in the next room, it's much more deadly and terrifying. It's a gothic maze, lots of focus on the horror of vampires, the blood of vampires, and it's definitely a lot more twisted this year.
Next up is Forevermore, brought to you by
Last year, Adam came up to me and was like, we should do an Edgar Allan Poe maze.
Don't blame me.
And I was like, absolutely, it's never been done over here on the West Coast. So we decided to make it a modern Edgar Allan Poe maze, and I developed a serial killer. His name is the Forevermore Killer, and what I loved about doing that is it gave me the freedom to kind of take these Edgar Allan Poe stories and just get really, really messed up with them. So you get to go through all of his murder scenes, and I would say it's probably the goriest maze, new maze this year at Haunt. And it's real twisted and real scary, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
And I've seen more time than ever before. So can I suggest next year we do a Breaking Bad maze so I can watch Breaking Bad next year? Because I've had enough of Edgar Allan Poe.
Adam and I have been sitting in his office just going through Edgar Allan Poe stories, combing through them and trying to pull good quotes and things like that.
And he was a good writer, right?
Yeah, just really wordy.
He put everything backwards, so all the words are backwards. It's crazy.
Not bad for someone from Baltimore. Next is Black Magic.
Black Magic is over at the Accelerator area. Last year, during Halloween, I saw the special on Houdini and his seances, and I was really intrigued by them. And I thought, well, what happens if one of his seances actually went wrong and all the ghosts came through? So I wanted to create this area where, a theater, where we had a seance, and Houdini would come through, bring all of his evil spirits, and possess sort of this 1920s Art Deco theater, and we just go through and visit all these ghosts. It's going to be pretty bloody and gory, not as gory as yours.
There's competition.
And you go through all these different magicians that are differently themed, and you go through, you see this terrorizing white bunny, and...
Well, Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, but there will be magic involved in your Black Magic maze.
Definitely, we have some kind of twisted tricks that's going to happen. So there's going to be definitely things that you're never going to see at first, and then they appear before you.
I was just walking through it Thursday night, and it's beautiful in there. It's the level of detail. It's really awesome. Really excited about that maze. All our mazes.
Oh, next up. We also have Gus coming to us with Gunslinger's Grave.
Well,
Gunslinger's grave is actually going to be at the old location of the Fallout shelter. It's, as far as we know, of course, as far as we know, and yes, it is the first cowboy maze we've done at Knott's. It's an interesting experience to try to take something that is so ingrained in Knott's culture and turn it into a scary maze at night. Basically what you're going to get is a really rotten Old West town. There's no supernatural aspect, there's nothing fancy, it's just a bunch of really disturbing, disgusting people being horrible to each other. And you know what? Probably a lot of you guys might fit right in.
Just don't wear a hat. We need to tell the guests apart from the monsters. So when it comes to this particular maze, I understand that it's one of the first mazes that does an indoor for indoor, outdoor for outdoor.
Yeah, you can't say it's the first thing we've ever tried like that, but really on the scale that we're trying to do, we really are going out of our way to make it feel completely different in the fact that you are walking through an Old West town. When you go through, let's say, the general store there, you're going to walk through a little bit of dirt, then you're going to walk up into the store, and then you're going to walk out, and you're going to be out in dirt again. So it's going to be, of course it's a challenge in that venue, but we're really trying to make the outdoor portions of it feel as real, like you really are walking through an Old West town, and make that atmosphere as believable as possible.
We have one more maze that we're going to be sharing, and that would be Mirror, Mirror, Daniel.
Mirror, Mirror is a new concept that we're doing where we actually get lost in a maze. So what this is about is the witch has cursed this mirror, and anyone who peers into this mirror is going to be sucked into this mirror world, almost like Necropolis. So it's kind of tying with Necropolis, it's tying with the witch, and you do literally get lost in the maze. And
I've heard the exterior design for that maze is really good.
Maybe because you designed it?
Thank you so much. I did something, yay.
I think what's important to remember is like we really go for the variety of different kinds of scares, different kinds of environments. You have the gore, you have the...
I assume you all experienced Trapped last year, yes?
Trapped is back with a whole new experience as well as an experiment. It's basically we're going on your deepest fears, and it's exclusive maze, so it'll be a very intimate maze. Jeff, do you want to?
Let me just say that as the guy who works on the Facebook page and deals with the fans one-on-one every day, I'm on every day. It's funny, if you go on the page and it'll say, Knott's Scary Farm, and then some post, it'll say, near Riverside. That's me from home posting. And one guy was like, he posts everywhere, man. He's like Wolfman Jack. But last year we learned a valuable lesson, is that the people who love Scary Farm, the people who are dyed-in-the-wool Scary Farm fans, we asked them to trust us, and they totally did. We took a maze concept, we said, it's going to be different, it's going to be new, it's going to cost more, and guess what? We're not going to tell you anything about it. And I was prepared last year, because I was there I was with the designers, I was with the monsters, the tech people almost I was there every night. And I was prepared for like downtime, where like you'd go in and see the monsters sort of hanging out, and I'd go, hey, we got somebody, everybody get to your spots. And instead what happened was that somebody came to me from the online sales department and said, hey, you know that trap thing? I was like, yeah, the trap thing, I know all about the trap thing. They said, it's sold out already. I said, Haunt doesn't open for 3 hours. They said, yeah, it's sold out. And that happened every night of Haunt. I couldn't believe it. We swore when we put this up that it was a one-time only thing, that if you didn't experience Trapped in the first year, you were out of luck. There's no video, no pictures, no nothing. And when they sat down to do Trapped, the new experiment, everything from the first one was thrown out. It's a brand new, completely terrifying, amazing new vision for Trapped. There's no repeat, no same room. If you went through it, it's totally different this year. And let me tell you, as the guy who sat in on a lot of production meetings, some of the rooms are there simply because as I took VIPs through, as I took the Season Pass podcast people through, and as Neil Patrick Harris went through, and Seth MacFarlane, some of the rooms in there are there because somebody grabbed me by the arm and said, is so-and-so, is this kind of thing in there? I said, well, I can't tell you. They said, you have to tell me. I can't go in if that's in there. So I wrote all that down, and I said, when we do the new one, these are in there. Thank you. We are so proud of Trapped and the trust that you guys have in us. Let me just tell you, we can't tell you anything about it, except there is a room in Trapped this year that once it's built, once it's finished, nobody on this panel will go through. The people who built it say, once we sign off and say it's done, we're not going through either. There's a room so terrifying. What's in there has people so freaked out that the very people building it will not experience it when it's up and running with lights and sound and actors and the whole bit. So, I can't wait!
So you're telling us that Neil Patrick Harris is now a designer for Knott's?
He's a designer for his own thing, and I wouldn't presume to tell Neil what to do. Neil runs his own Halloween thing. Neil's a legend, so yeah.
Well, he built this one, everyone.
I just want to say one of the coolest things about Trapped is we get all of the designers in a room together, and that's our lighting designers, our audio designers, our video designers, and it's a chance for us all to sit down and go, let's do everything we've always wanted to do and never been able to. And this is a venue where we get to do that. We get to seriously screw with our guests.
It's the one place where nothing is off limits. And if you went through Trapped last year, I'm not giving anything away by saying, because it was on the season pass, the full walkthrough. We made people eat things. We made people put their hands in filthy toilets and get in a coffin or a morgue drawer. This year, we're way above that. There you go.
The Scare Zone's returning.
One of the important things to remember about the Scare Zones is that we are all-encompassing. When you come to our park, it's always scare. And so we have Ghost Town, and that's our oldest Scare Zone, and started by the Witch with a lot of Ghost Town.
It's kind of, it's our Western-themed area. In there, the Witch has cursed all of the monsters in there. A lot of them have been turned into animals, and it's our first and oldest Scare Zone.
And Necropolis, where steampunk meets vampires.
Yeah, basically, there's some Necropolis monsters in here. And basically, but that is, the vampires in this area have taken steampunk, in the steampunk industry, basically turning the whole Fiesta Village area into a Dia de los Muertos party for everybody. So.
Live show.
Something that's not been released at all, but it's going to provide you access for front of the line. It's going to also give you a bonus room, a very scary, dark bonus room in 5 of our mazes. You also receive a collector's pen that you can trade later if you so desire. But
what's cool about the bonus rooms is they're all room. It'll be a small group goes into them, and they're one room in 5 different locations that is relevant to the maze that they're in, and it's interactive. So you get to have a little bit of an interactive room at 5 different mazes.
Cool. These wonderful little rooms could further the story or give you a secret that you wouldn't otherwise know.
They're actually, I think most of them give you some backstory to the maze that you wouldn't otherwise have.
It turns 5 mazes into director's cut.
Exactly.
Do you want a year-round maze? Sure.
I'll give you the reasons. I'll tell you what I think. I don't think it would work because I don't think the tourist who comes from Tuscaloosa in July has any idea what they're going in for. Because we did Alien Attack one year during September weekends. We called it a freak preview. And people came out upset because we terrorized their children. So I don't think it would work. I don't think we want to tone down. And the other reason is simply, when you have a really good cake, you don't give away slices for free.
Yeah.
You know, haunt belongs at haunt.
I mean, and also, if you've got, working with the monsters and working so closely with the monsters, the amount of work and energy it takes for somebody to stay at that level of scare and crazy, and to ask somebody to do that all year round, I just think, I mean, I think the quality would suffer. The scare would suffer.
Yeah, I can't imagine any monster going on a break from a maze and then going through their Easter basket. I just don't think that's something I want to deal with.
Yeah, I think if it were to happen, not that I'm saying it would, it's sort of, it's such an outside shot that the finished product would be so absolutely different than an actual haunt maze. You couldn't have a haunt maze year-round, just for those reasons, you know, just the energy involved in the fact that, yeah, the novelty would be great for the people who want to check it out, you know, like a couple weeks in November for the day show, but after that, you won't have the interest, and in order to make it friendly for the day show, it would have to be so sanitized that it would cheapen the haunt experience. So we'd be basically giving people haunt light, and nobody wants to see that.
And we have to have something for you guys to look forward to.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. Log ride monsters.
Laura, it was your baby, so that's yours.
Yeah, as some of you know, we just revamped Log Ride, and you know, Garner Holt added some amazing animatronics in there. We completely redid the scenery, and it still has that charm of what it was first intended to be. To go in there with our haunt monsters is almost sacrilegious. I don't know. I just don't feel that it's necessary to put that in there and give you guys a chance to see it even during haunt. Not saying the lighting won't change a little bit, but it's still, you know, it needs to remain what it is. And we want to concentrate more on our mazes and make them the best they can be.
Yeah.
Open this up to a Q&A. Oh, one last?
Real quick, before we're going to open up for questions.
Yes.
Real quick, after the panel, if you're interested in Scary Farm and its amazing history, Ted Doherty is going to be at the Dark Delicacies booth signing his amazing book all about Scary Farm. It is a must-have for Scary Farm fans. And then on a different note, we're a family here at Scary Farm. We have people that have worked almost every year of haunt, and we lost a member very recently, and our thoughts and prayers go out to Mark and his family. There's that. I don't mean to bring everybody down. Mark would certainly not want to do that. So we're going to open for questions.
We're going to open this up for questions. Let's raise the lights so we can see everybody. I can't see you guys out there. Where are you at? Please, let's pick somebody. Where are you at? I see hands.
Well, like, I since, like, the Alien Invasion, that was my first year going to haunt, and I really liked it. And, I'm just, like, I just can't believe it's real. Like, it's like, it's my dream. I'm waiting till I'm 16 to work here.
We'll welcome you, come on.
Yeah, come on down. Put you somewhere.
Can you elaborate on the skeleton, any more on the skeleton key as to, is it going to be a limited number per night? Does it allow you to get into the mazes as many times as you want? Or is it, prices, anything like that?
I don't have the prices right now, but they will be, you will get all the mazes front of the line at least once.